Assalamualaikum to Dr. Nurul Huda. My name is Nur Syafiqah binti Salani and my metric number is S63353. Today I'm going to present to you the task that has been given to us, which is ocean ion fertilization or IF. So this is simplified picture of ion fertilization. By adding nutrient, it will cause the growth of phytoplankton. Then, when the phytoplankton dead, the captured carbon will stay in the deeper layer of the ocean for 100 years or more. So, what is ocean ion fertilization? Ocean ion fertilization is a method to increase carbon dioxide drawdown by adding iron to stimulate and boost phytoplankton productivity and efficiency. To make it short, ocean ion fertilization is actually the addition of iron into the ocean on purpose, and it is naturally or artificially to stimulate phytoplankton growth. Next, how exactly did researchers study of the composition of atmospheric gases? Atmospheric composition in the past are studied through the analysis of trapped air bubbles in the Arctic-Antarctic ice core. The Arctic-Antarctic ice core have shown that atmospheric carbon dioxide level during the last glacial maximum, which is around 20,000 years ago, was 180 parts per million, and the pre-industrial times was 280 parts per million. It is proven that carbon dioxide level during the last glacial maximum is much lower than the pre-industrial times. This shows that last glacial maximum increased the dust input, which act as an iron source. So, who is John Martin and how did Martin come to this finding? In 1993, John Martin came with the iron hypothesis of fertilizing the sea with the iron, and it was tested on the open ocean for the first time. Here is the additional information about the journey of Martin's hypothesis, and this is the picture of him. Moving on to the history of ocean ion fertilization. According to the Martin studies, he found that the atmospheric carbon dioxide level during the last glacial maximum was lower compared to the pre-industrial time, and the dust input also increased due to the dry climate during the era. Therefore, Martin hypothesized that during the last glacial maximum increase, dust input relieved iron limitation and thereby enhanced the biological pump in higher nutrient low chlorophyll region. Next, the main objective of ocean ion fertilization is to fertilize HNLC regions with the deliberate addition of iron in order to increase the strength of biological pump and to enhance oceanic drawdown of atmospheric carbon dioxide. The second part is area of fertilization. So there are 4 areas of the ion fertilization take place, which are subtropical North Atlantic, equatorial Pacific, subarctic North Pacific, and the last one is Southern Ocean. And here are the reasons why they choose this area. For subtropical North Atlantic, it is because this region have low nutrient and low chlorophyll, so it is easy to recognize the change happen by adding the iron. Next, the equatorial Pacific, because this region have higher light intensity and temperature, hence promote rapid phytoplankton growth. So what is relationship between high iron and reduced carbon in the atmosphere? Firstly, we have to know that iron is essential for phytoplankton to undergo photosynthesis. Based on the hypothesis in iron EX1, ocean ion fertilization help in increasing phytoplankton productivity by relieving iron limitation on phytoplankton in HNLC regions. High iron concentration increase phytoplankton productivity, and high photosynthesis rate will help in absorbing more carbon, which lead to the carbon sequestration process. So there are 13 artificial OIF experiments that have been performed so far, where 1 in subtropical North Atlantic, 2 in equatorial Pacific, 3 in subarctic North Pacific, and 7 in Southern Ocean. Meanwhile, there are 6 natural OIF that have been carried out in the world. Most of the artificial OIF has given positive feedback, such as significant carbon export and phytoplankton bloom. Even though the most results have given good result, but it still has their limitation during performing this experiment. For example, some experiment required single ion addition, micro and macro nutrient limitation in some region, insufficient experimental duration, and light limitation by the storm. After all the limitation, all this experiment achieved its main aim, and considered as success. Based on my understanding, it is not fully success because there are some experiment does not achieve its aims. There is a successful biochemical response in iron X2. This is because there is a shift from a picophytoplankton dominated community to a microphytoplankton dominated community, which result in occurrence of a diatom dominated bloom. This drastic shift has been spotted by Martin hypothesis. And here I also put the evidence of unsuccess OIF. However, there are some environmental side effects that should be looked forward. For example, in Equatorial Pacific, artificial OIF enhance the nitrous oxide production, which may have bring down the benefit of carbon dioxide sequestration. For future improvement of the OIF experiment, we should consider about 5 categories, which are location, time duration, timing, strategy, and effective tracing of fertilized pitch. For location, experiments should be done in a region with high silicate concentration. Second aspect is time duration. Suggested duration is minimum 40 days to detect the full phase of phytoplankton bloom. The timing, the most appropriate is during earlier summer. So it is because in the Southern Ocean, phytoplankton blooms during early summer. One thing that we should have known that phytoplankton is more prevalent where water temperature are cold, and cold water often the more nutrients than warm water. For strategy, there are a few strategies including the chemical form. For iron addition must be acidified iron sulfate because it is less expensive and bioavailable. And the last part is use both physical and biogeochemical tracer for the effective tracing fertilized pitch. I think that's all from me, and I hope that I have covered all the questions, and I'm sorry if I'm going too fast. And thank you very much to Dr. Nurul Huda, and Assalamualaikum.